Okay, this is one of the most beautiful things in-memory databases. This is again, SAP markets it as if they invented it, but this has been around for a while. Okay, it's again goes back to 1980s. Okay, so SAP is the one who can be credited with using it to such a big level, but they definitely did not invent it. Okay, okay, so now we need to understand what are tables. Okay, so since how do we even create a table? The most basic tables that we create even in Excel are these, right? These if I have to generate a table, I have to create a table, I just put a header and I just start writing data beneath it. Glove, a glove is category of sport and it generates revenue of 500 euros or whatever. Okay, so this is a basic table that I create in Excel or wherever. Okay, so even in when you're working with PW or any other databases, you might have defined your table like this and enter data like this. But again, it's really important to understand the backend design. Okay, and I'll emphasize this again and again, the word design. Okay, the moment you understand how things actually work in the backend, things, your development skills go through the roof. Okay, that is the actual beauty of being a HANA designer rather than a developer. That is the day you will become an architect. Okay, so this table, okay, when it is stored in your disk or your in a regular database, imagine you are on BW on a regular database like Oracle or SQL or whatever. Okay, you store this data. How does it get stored? It gets stored like this in the row storage in continuous form. Okay, so as you see, the first row is glove sport 500, then cap sport 200 is the next row. Okay, let me close this. Okay, so this gets stored in a continuous stream of memory. Okay, so glove sport 500, cap sport 200. Okay, so as long as your data set is in your table, it keeps on adding on beneath this. Okay, so the next three would come beneath this, and it keeps on going on in a continuous storage of memory. Okay, so memory is usually in blocks if you have studied data structures in college or whatever. Okay, so memory goes on in blocks, and this is a continuous storage of memory. So rows are called tuples or rows in database terms. So if you hear the word tuples, TUPLES, that is also a fancy way to say rows. Okay, so some people prefer that, makes them look more intelligent. Okay, so still you should know that. So this is a standard way of storing things in any database apart from in-memory databases. Okay. So again, as I said, there are more in-memory databases than HANA. If someone asks you what is an in-memory database, do not say HANA. It's one of the in-memory databases. Oracle has something called as times 10. Okay, times 10 database. And I would also like you to just if you have a copy, just write this down, times 10. Okay, read about, always read about your competition. Okay, because this is again coming back to my previous point, or my previous point, uh, about the when about different phases in the project. Okay, there's a phase where client asks you for a solution, and then you recommend a solution based on which your project may or may not come to your company. Okay, based on the pricing, your solution that you suggested, and more things. Okay, to become a really big architect in your company, you should not blindly go and suggest HANA just because you know HANA. Okay, uh, so you should know what is the competition. Why is this not preferred over HANA? Okay, or you should at least know when to use what. Okay, for example, your client is completely on the Oracle suite. They use Oracle ERPs, reporting tools, everything. Okay, would this be better there, or would you just go and blindly recommend HANA everywhere? So I would like you or like to tell you to, as a takeaway from this training, or as a what do you all, I don't want to call it homework, but let's call it homework. Okay, as part of your homework, and read about HANA. Okay, I know you would think that you already know, but read about HANA, read about Oracle. Okay, read about Oracle times 10, and read about the differences between HANA and times 10. Okay, this would really open up your mind. Fine. Coming back to this. Okay, so in memory, in-memory and regular databases, right? So regular databases usually, non-in-memory databases usually store data in row store, where your data looks like this continuously as you store them in your table. Okay, it's always continuous. And then you have the column store. Okay, column stores are a bit more complicated, but the result is simpler than expected. Okay, so column store takes your table and thinks of each of those columns as individual tables. Okay, so you have this material column, your category column, and your revenue column. Okay, so um, column store thinks of it as um, each of these as their own tables instead. Okay, so imagine if you break this into 3 different tables like this, and column store stores each table again continuously. So each mini table is stored continuously as it was there: glove, cap, chair, table, protein. Okay, so this is stored continuously. The second table that was broken apart is stored continuously, and the third table is also stored continuously. Okay, so now there's a compression activity going on. Okay, compression, what it does is it removes the duplicates. Okay, there are 2 sport categories, 3 sport categories. I compress it to 1. There are 2 housing categories. I compress it to 1. Okay, the data in the amount is different, so it remains the same. Okay, then I index it. Indexing is just sorting. Okay, so I sort this alphabetically. I sort this alphabetically. I sort this numerically. Okay, and this is a logical representation of what happens. Okay, so what actually happens even in more depth is I also assign a surrogate ID in front of these individual fields. Okay, so I assign an ID in front of this cap, okay, a surrogate ID, and I assign it in front of each of these. Okay, these surrogate IDs at runtime help me identify that cap, okay, cap had a category of sport and its amount was this. Okay, so that is something that the database always does by itself. The sorting, indexing is done by itself. As a developer, you do nothing here. Okay, the sorting and compression algorithms might get changed based on how SAP optimizes these things at the back end, but usually what you have control of is to tell your table that it will be a column store. So a regular database only has an option of to be a row store type of storage. An in-memory database has an option to be both a row store and a column store. Okay, is the row and column store clear? I would like a yes or no from both all of you. Okay.
Yes, Shyam, but I have a question.
Hmm.
Like, is there any specific scenario where we use row store or column store in HANA,
Yeah,
or always column?
yeah. I was going to that topic, but I wanted one of you to ask that question. Good that you did. Okay, so again, when I said that it supports both, okay, why didn't they just put the column store? Why did they even need to put a row store in your option in your in-memory HANA database. Okay, so this again comes to a topic which I think I've not written about this. Okay, so this is a new topic for you. Okay, I think it would be better explained in Excel. Let me start up an Excel. Now Excel takes time because it was not in the RAM. It's the first time I opened Excel after restart. Okay, so fine. So now let's see how this works. Okay, so let's create a table. Let's say material. Let's say number, category, revenue. Okay, so material number 100, 200, 300, 400. So these are material IDs, let's say. Okay, so the category is S for let's say S category stands for sporting, and let's say housing, sporting, housing. Okay, and revenue generated is 22, 33, 44, 55, 66. Okay, now how would a row store this? This would be stored as 100, 200, 300, 100 S, 22, 200 H, 33, and so on. You get the point, right? So this is the row store. Okay, how would the column store this? Column store would store this as 100, 200, okay, until 500. Okay, then S, then H, and then S, sorted and indexed. Okay, then 22 until 66. Okay, so this is one, this is the second part, and this is the third part. Okay, so imagine what I'm trying to do with this is insert the data. Okay, insert the data into this table. Okay, or let's start with something simple. Okay, let's talk about reports. Okay, you might have worked on BW, you might have worked on different databases, you might have created reports on top of them, right? So what is a report in terms of database operations? It's a select statement. Okay, you might have learned in a BAP or whatever database you worked in. It's always in all databases, it's called a select statement. Okay, so select means picking up data from the table, right? So how do I pick up data? I go and run a report. That report translates into usually a SQL statement. So the statement will be like select, let's say I need material number, revenue from the table or the view where material number is between 300 to 500. Okay, this is not actual SQL, I'm just writing this in plain English for now. Okay, so let's say I built a report that where you had a filter where the user put that return me the list of materials and their revenue where the material number is between 400 and 500. Okay, so that comes back and translates to this SQL. This SQL goes to this table which is actually stored as this. Okay, this is one row, this is the second row. Okay, so it goes to this table, goes and searches for material numbers between 400 and 500. Okay, so even though you look at a table like this, tables are actually stored like this, right? So, and if you work with BW and if you work with other databases, usually once you load data, there's a step called indexing and compression. Okay, where you index your data on a key. That basically means you will usually keep this table indexed or sorted based on something. For example, in this case, the material number. When you keep this indexed or sorted, when the query comes and hits it, and the query says, I want to talk about only material numbers between 400 to 500. If the entire list is already sorted, I know I want to go and pick up only something that starts from 400. So if it is sorted, I know that my 400 would be somewhere at the end of it. So I don't have to read entire top part to reach this. So my query directly goes somewhere towards the end of the result set, because it knows that 400 should be somewhere below it because you have indexed it. Okay. So in a row based environment, it goes directly to wherever 400 is or around 400 and starts reading from there. Okay, but what the problem here is that I am reading from left to right here, right? So even though I don't want the field category, I will always read through category because it's a continuous row of memory, right? And imagine SAB tables. The SAB tables are close to usually 150 plus fields, okay? And usually reports need less than 20 or 30 fields. So if I just wanted 20 or 30 fields, for every row of data, I would read 180 fields, 180 columns to get those 20 fields out. And if I have 1 billion records, okay, and let's say for this query 400 to 500, I have, let's say 500,000 results that fall into this filter. Okay, so I read 400,000 400 or 500,000 records, and when I go through each row, I only wanted 20 records, but I read through 150 fields to get those 20 records. Okay, so it's not as simple as pick this and this. I cannot skip this when it's stored in a continuous row of data. Okay, so reading is slow here. Reading data is pretty slow here in case of a row store. But when I come to a column store, if this entire result set or this table was stored in a column store environment rather than a row store, I come into it, I know this is a small set. Okay, so even if my uh, let's say company has, let's say 100,000 materials. Okay, 100,000 materials are there. It's already indexed and sorted. It knows where material number 400, 500 is. Okay, it reads through it. Second part is material category. Okay, so category I don't need. Okay, but even if I needed this, you should notice that there are only 2 records for this. If I had 1 billion records, this category would have been repeated 1 billion times, right? So now I only store it twice, not 1 billion times. Okay, and even though I have shown it like this, these exist in independent spaces. Okay, these are independent tables. They are not continuous to each other. Okay, so this means that this table is stored somewhere else, this field is stored somewhere else, material number, the category is stored somewhere else, and this is stored somewhere else. So I go to my material number, my query comes here, goes to material number 400. As I said, there are surrogate IDs attached to this, which tells what is the corresponding revenue for it. Okay, let's say the surrogate ID generated as S123. Okay, it goes and links to the surrogate ID here S123. Okay, so from here I just have to read this set of records. Okay, usually in this example there are no repetitions. For example, if I had, instead of select material number comma category, okay, in this case I would have to go check material number 400, where is material number 400, and from there check what is the surrogate ID for the category, and I don't have to read 1 billion rows of category values. I have to read 2 values here. Okay, So this makes my read really fast. Okay, so I am not reading billions of records or 100,000 records here. I'm just reading some data sets. Imagine the amount of time saved. Okay, because when if you're seeing some data in actual systems, most of these fields have only 10 or 20 or maybe 1,000 unique values. Okay, but when you have millions of data records, these have to be repeated again and again. If you store it like this, they will be repeated again and again. But if you are in a column store, these are individual tables that can be broken, compressed, and sorted. And I had to read through two of these instead of maybe a billion values. Okay, that is why my column store is good in reading. And I still haven't answered why row store is important. I'll come to that. Okay, so really fast in reading. Okay, so read is faster. Okay, so that makes my row store sound really bad, right? So why is this piece of legacy hardware spoiling my system? Why do I even need row store? Okay, so now think of a different operation. Okay, I am using this table and I am a cashier, or I'm the guy who uh, let's say I'm the cashier, or the guy who scans your grocery and gives you the bill. Okay, so whenever you go to the supermarket, someone puts in the items you want, generates a bill. Usually, a lot of these stores have SAP behind them. Even if they don't, they have some kind of system behind them, ERP behind them. This sales data goes and gets stored somewhere. Okay, how do you store it? Storing is usually an insert statement by in SQL or even a BAP. Okay, insert. Okay, um, insert statement inserts data into your table. It's plain English, right? Okay, if I sold a material number 600 today, that is our category housing, and made $77 today. Okay, this is an insert statement that happened today. Okay, so I added new data here. So what will happen in my row store? If this table was a row store, what would happen? Simple. These three rows go at the end. My job is done. Okay. Now what will happen if this uh, table in this scenario is a row store, is a column store? I need to add this to this table, this to this, and this to here. Okay. Now I need to resort, recompress this table. I need to resort, recompress this table, resort, recompress this table, establish the surrogate IDs again to connect. Okay, so imagine the number of transactions that happens in a supermarket a day. Okay, is the row faster, or is the column faster? It's the row is faster, right? So when
So,
yeah, so this is faster for writes. Okay, so this can be your insert statement for inserting data. This can be your update statement, okay, for updating data. Okay, so if I want to update, if I by mistake, uh, by some mistake I put something here, or at a later point of time your company wanted to change this category from H to G for groceries or something, that would be an update statement. Okay, to update one thing, I need to again go here, sort index. The entire integrity has to be referential integrity checks and all lot of things. Okay, updates, anything that is not read is faster on a row store. Okay, even deletion. Okay, so whenever you change something in these individual tables, they have to be recreated and reinsert, not recreated, so indexed, recompressed. Okay, so when you talk about reporting, analysis and all those things, whenever we speak of HANA, we think of HANA as a replacement for BW or all these things, right? HANA, we think of reports and everyone markets it as super fast reports, milliseconds of response. So that is because the reports are read operations. Reads are faster because I don't have to read through millions of data records. But when it comes to write, the row outperforms always the column engine. Sorry, the column store database. That is why you still have row. Is that clear? Yes, no, anything?
Yes, Shyam.
Yeah.
In which cases we need for updating the database or something? Because mostly in report we use the reading perspective, we are creating reports. If we create for client perspective, so where is row is required? Like
See,
for example,
you're reporting a small part of your business, right? Um,
yes.
you first there's a lot of transactions happening, financial transactions, sales transactions. Okay, so when you HANA and SAP does not restrict HANA. HANA is not restricted to analytical applications. Okay, HANA is a database. Anything that a database can do, HANA can go and replace it and do it better. Okay, so you cannot only think of HANA as being there for reporting needs only. You might have heard for heard of
Correct, correct.
yeah, you might have heard of ECC on HANA, okay, or S4 HANA. Okay, these are transactional databases. Okay, transactional databases are databases where your sales, financial postings go and sit. Okay, so when these data are written whenever someone buys something or you sell something or data is written. Okay, so in these kind of scenarios you need something that can write faster, really fast, because if you are a big company like Pepsi or Coke or Walmart or wherever, okay, you need a system that can write really fast. So you cannot have column tables there in these kind of scenarios. For these kind of sales postings or financial postings, you need something like a row to cache that data really fast and then store it really fast. Okay, so row is not dead. Row is really required for write anything that comes into your system and stays there. You understand that?
Yes,
Okay.
got it.
But having said that, ECC on HANA, S4 HANA, SAP's offerings um, to to the transactional space. Okay, what you're learning is analytical HANA. Okay, the HANA based on which you create reports. ECC on HANA and S4 HANA is the HANA is when you have these ECC or finance applications, the sales applications sitting on your HANA database. Okay, so by the logic that I just told you, these tables should ideally be row tables, right? Because they should write really fast. But these tables are column tables. Okay, so how does SAP manage writing really fast into tables that are column tables? Okay, that is the concept of delta merge that we will learn tomorrow. Okay, so we have again gone over time, but okay, merge. Okay, so for now, I would like you to understand that why column tables are faster to read and why row tables are faster to write. Okay, and what is the difference between them. Tomorrow we will learn the concept of delta merge. Again, this is a concept that is I think addressed very minutely somewhere in my um, tutorials, but it's an important concept to learn. We will address the concept of delta merge tomorrow. Um, I would like, I know we have gone over time. If you want to drop off, if you have something urgent, you're welcome to. You're done with the class, but I would like to have 5 minutes of questions or something that you want to ask.
Shyam,
Hmm.
when will we get systems for systems?
Yeah, so it's a 1 month access. Okay, so I was thinking that when I start with the systems, I'll go and buy them and give it to you. Okay, otherwise if I buy it right now, you're just wasting these days waiting for me to come to something that is about the system, right?
Correct.
I can send it to anyone who needs it right now, but you can let me know. Okay.
And second, one more thing. Do we also get BW for HANA? It's only HANA.
It's only HANA. BW for HANA is again 1500 more. If you, I can pay for the HANA part. If you need BW for HANA, you can add in the extra part and take that system also. But I would recommend it's not to go for it. Okay, finish this HANA part, perfect this HANA part. Okay, I am writing tutorials on BW for HANA. I just started it. Okay, so I would say it's not a stable software yet. Okay, not many clients have gone on it or are thinking to go on it because a lot of features are missing which are there in traditional BW. Okay, so don't jump into all those things. Learn HANA first. BW for HANA is 50% native HANA. Okay, so it's similar concepts combined with the BW concepts. Okay, so it will be fun. By the time we finish this HANA training and you have enough practice, I'll be done with this. So if you want, you can directly learn using this. And
one more question, sir. This course is only HANA and SQL, or you will touch BW also?
no, this is not BW. HANA SQL, HANA SQL and reporting.
Okay, fine. Clear. Thanks.
Okay, because BW is another big thing. You cannot complete that in 1 month. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Fine. Any other questions from today's thing? Any other discussions? Since Aman and Smita and Suesh, you have been working this and this. Okay, so don't think of me as a trainer. Okay, just think of me as someone who is talking to you. Be
Aman, sorry, Shyam.
Yeah.
I have never worked on HANA. That is another thing.
Yeah, it's okay. But whatever, you might have gone through concepts of it, right? If you feel I missed something at some point, please stop me. And if you feel you can explain a topic better, I would be more than happy to give it to you. And I'll stop you if it's wrong, but yeah.
Nothing. Only thing is 2 years ago, I read the 3 PDFs and I wrote exam and I passed. That's it.
Certification exams are a big scam, man. Whenever anyone says who they are certified, I don't care. I am certified, I don't care.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Shyam.
Never got opportunity to work on it.
Yeah, no problem. We'll go through some good scenarios.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Yes, Smita.
Yeah, Shyam, I need like more information between difference between SAP HANA, SAP BW HANA when projects are specifically working on SAP BW HANA and specifically on SAP HANA. Like, what's the requirement? Like in a project, if it is working on specific particular BW only, and suddenly they have changed and work on HANA. Why not BW HANA? Just want to identify in which scenario we are using BW HANA and not pure HANA.
Okay. So I would say it's a whole big topic. It's again a topic, as I said, when companies come to you with BW and they ask for a solution, saying that we want to go on HANA, whether we should go with BW on HANA or whether we should go with native HANA or whether we should go with both. Okay, there are multiple factors that affect your decision on suggesting a solution, and if you put the wrong solution, there might be other vendors that will come and take that project away from you with a better reasoning. Okay, so that is a big question in itself, and it will take around 15 to 20 minutes to explain that. Okay, so I will take that tomorrow. Okay, I will take that tomorrow in that time. Okay, because I think before we get into the system, that is also a big important concept. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Okay. Any further questions from today's topics?
Yeah, Sham, I had a question just about the column store and the row store based databases. Is it possible that the same database could be used for both? Like, let's say, I can't think of a scenario, but I'm just thinking of some business case where you need the same table that needs to be updated as well as read concurrently.
Yes, perfect. So as I said, in-memory databases support both of them. Okay. So what is now SAP is coming up with scenarios where usually what was the traditional structure of things? I had a transactional source. Okay, this is my transactional system source. Okay, usually SAP ECC if it is SAP. Okay, so here all your financial postings and everything would um, come and sit, right? So these are write operations coming in from your POS, point of sales applications. Okay, so again let's so let's say this is an application, POS application. POS, for example, your stores, whenever they sell something, they generate something, they have an application that generates data and it gets posted, finance data, sales data here. Okay, it also contains data about your customers, data about the material you're producing and everything. So how did you analyze traditionally? You send this data to a BW system, right? You send this data to a BW system and you analyzed it. Here you had the write operations. Sorry, the read operations. So you had reports on top of it, you had read operations. Here you had the write operations. So there were two distinct roles that were there. Okay, this was for read and that was for write. And your ECC is also an application. Okay, it's not a database. It's an application. So it traditionally used to sit on some database like DB2, or let's say this is a symbol for a database. Okay, it used to sit on some database like a DB2 or an Oracle. Okay, let's say Oracle. Okay, but and BW also sits on, let's say, an Oracle before HANA. Okay, so now with the advent of HANA, BW can sit on a HANA database, but as I said, there's something called as ECC on HANA. Okay, so ECC can also go and now sit on HANA. So ECC can sit on HANA. Okay, and if my reporting requirements are not that much, my analytical reporting requirements are not that much, I don't even need BW now anymore. Okay, so so if I can just delete that. Okay, so I don't even need BW anymore if my analytical requirements are not that much. Okay, all my reports are based on this operational data. Okay, so I have something called as ECC on HANA, and the latest version of this is called S4 HANA. Okay, this is called S4 HANA. It's S is for simple. Okay, simplified or simple or something. Okay, so this is where your application tables are getting updated. For example, the finance table is one of the main finance tables is called BSEG. Okay, so your BSEG table was earlier being read by BW and your reports were happening in BW. But now you have the BSEG table being written here from your financial tables, that financial application, the POS application or whatever applications you have. Okay, but now since my database is on HANA, it's really powerful. I can even read this BSEG table and generate a financial report on it, because this table is always updated, because it is the table being written whenever a financial transaction is happening. Okay, why don't I just read it and do my reporting on top of it? Okay, so instead of having my reports in a separate system, I build my report directly on top of this BSEG table. Okay, so the same table in this scenario in S4 HANA is being written and read at the same time. Okay, so that is why I said in-memory tables, in-memory applications support both the row store and the column store. Now at this point, I am you would be confused as what kind of table should this be now? Should it be a column store because it's being read, or should it be a row store because it's being written at the same time? Okay, to understand what this, what type of table this would be, is tomorrow's tutorial with the concept called delta merge. Okay, the answer is a column table. This will be a column table. But I already told you that row stores are better to write. So I don't want to
Right.
confuse you, but there's a magical concept called delta merge. We'll come to that tomorrow. Okay, just
Okay.
remember, don't read on delta merge, but read on row store, read on column store, read on the competitions that HANA has, and read on what HANA is. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I went half an hour overboard with this, but I hope you guys understood something and you don't find it a waste of money. Okay, so how was the feedback? Would you want to change something? Or I would take you the topics one by one, slower, a bit slower than you might expect, but I would want you to understand this foundation concept first before the tools, because I always hate the tools, because tools are a set of 50 buttons that you can press once or twice and that's all. But the concepts are the base for your design that a developer will use to build the entire thing. That might get messed up because someone did not pay attention to designing it well. So the design is based on these core concepts. Okay, any feedback? Or else we'll close.
I think it's pretty good. The pace is pretty good for now.
Mm-hmm.
And the concept I think I like it, and the pace is pretty good.
Cool. Fine. Smita, Suresh, it's okay?
It's very clear, Shyam.
Cool.
This is what I am expecting.
Great, man.
Yes, Shyam. It is. I really respect the concept first, because once we use of tool, we can do it easily.
Yeah.
But the concept should be clear for design. Design always matter.
Yeah.
So yes, this is very smooth for me. So it's okay for me.
Fine. Okay. Then I will stop recording.